All right, guys, taking a look at the San Diego Comic-Con Turtle minivan release from Playmates. These are a little more noteworthy than, say, the previous GameStop release, as they have the softer heads that was present in the original storyline. So, quick thing to know about these figures is the body itself looks like it's the same. I know there was some hope at first that there would be some correction on Raphael's body. That does not seem to have taken place here. If there is a difference, it's very, very minor. I don't know if the light will pick that up. But what you will know, and probably the thing that's of most interest for people, is the heads. You'll notice these heads are a little bit softer, and so you can see there one of the challenges that you have, and it kind of shows up here, kind of doesn't. The shading on the head being more of a matte finish as opposed to a gloss finish on the harder sculpt heads kind of has a little bit of a contrast there, and you can see that there on Raphael. He's probably the most noticeable, where his head is darker than the rest of his body. So for some people, that might be something that kind of drives them nuts a little bit, but I'm trying to see if we can capture this in this video. You'll also see that with some of the paint, I find the overall paint job on it to be a little bit cleaner than was on some of the GameStop figures as well, so that is a plus for it. But in terms of shading, you'll see that with Raphael, there is definitely a shade difference, and you can kind of see that. So if you're a little more OCD about those things, that might just be something to keep in mind. Donatello is probably another one where you have, this is the GameStop version, and then you have the San Diego Comic-Con version. You'll see there's a little gap on the head. Some of that is probably just how it's sitting in the package right now. That head is pushed up a little bit. I don't think that'll be too big of a deal, but you know, just know that there is a little bit of that difference there. And you can see on this one too, you know, nice, clean, crisp paint job, well within the lines, not a whole lot of bleeding on the paint, but again, there is that tone difference between the body and the head. A little bit, some of that is due to the tone, some of that's also just due to the material. So we're going to take a look at all of them. Michelangelo does not have as big of a problem with that. There's the GameStop version, and then here is the this version. On film, this looks like a bigger contrast than it does in the light. His head is a little bit closer match than the other two, but again, because of the different materials, there still is a shading difference. For some people, isn't going to be a big deal. For other people, it might be a turnoff for them. Leonardo probably has the best blend between the soft head and the and the glossy body, but again, you know, you do have more of a matte finish on the softer heads, and then you have a gloss finish on the body. The bodies, from what I can tell, are just about identical to the GameStop releases, so I don't think there's any change there. You have the matte finish on the shell, a little more gloss on the figures, but again, you know, you're going to see more differences in the contrast between the head and the body. So something to keep in mind when you see them in the package. It's been a while since I looked at the old originals. They are in storage as I transition to the basement, moving all my stuff down there, and you know, kind of creating one big room. So I can't compare it offhand as to how that compares to the true originals. But you know, again, just something to keep in mind with the you know, with the matte versus a gloss finish. You know, that might be something that you know, people find particularly annoying or a drawback. So keep that in mind when looking at these. I got these from Amok Time up in Long Island, New York. I got it the day it was announced. Did not have a single problem with their you know, with their offerings. It was very smooth transaction. Everything arrived, was packaged very well. You know, in terms of you know, how it was packed, no concerns on that. They did a great job with that. But you know, here's all of them with the packaging. Was kind of hoping on the back they would have the the cards that the profile cards that came with the original. You do have the kind of the lineup there as opposed to the card. But then up top, you do have a little bit of the origin story explaining everything as you had on the originals as well. Obviously, with the ownership, you do see some Nickelodeon branding on there as well. Obviously, there's going to be some differences from the original product. I'll move over here. Don't mind the mess. We are in the process of transitioning stuff to this room. So I know this was another big ticket item for everyone. This is the box that it comes in. It's a neat looking box. Has the handle up top. Really cool design. I will say one thing that I was a little surprised on, and I don't know if it was just me not quite sure on the expectation, but in my mind, I just kind of had it in my head that it would probably be a top open and then have, the figures like this. When they came, they were very succinctly packed in there, but it's a tight fit. I mean, it's just big enough to hold all of them. They're stacked in there. You can't just pull them out. So that's not an issue for me, mainly just because I probably plan to have them displayed above the box when I finish getting everything set up in here. But for some people, that might be an issue as well. So just know that that's how the package arrives. Again, handle on top. You can open either from the back or the front. I decided to open from the back, but there's not a side or top opening there. So hopefully that that gives you a little sneak peek at what's coming down. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll respond as best I can. Thanks.